Hey, how are you? Welcome. I hope you're having a great night tonight. Thank you for joining me. I'm here. We're going to do a quick ink project tonight. Let me just get my situation under control here. This is the transfer we're going to use tonight. And I love this one because you can make it say maybe today or not today, depending on how you want to do it. Totally up to you. I think we're going to do maybe today because I feel like this shirt's going to be like my snarky shirt to wear whenever I'm feeling a little bit snippy. You know, sometimes you just wake up in a mood. Hi Stace, how are you? Okay, so let's get going. Keyword tonight is link, L-I-N-K. So first things first, let me put this to the side. I have my ink mat here. This is the 11 by 23 ink mat. It does come with this plastic protector on it. You want to hold on to that. And whenever you pull it off, you'll see this sticker, okay? Make sure that whenever you put it back on that you attach it with the sticker facing out, okay? And it does say that on there. That way it'll protect the adhesive. As you can see, this thing's pretty sticky. Hey Laura, how are you, love? Alright, so first things first, we're going to get this thing going. These are just like some, I think, Hanes t-shirts, Fruit of the Loom shirts that I bought on Amazon. Hi, Alma. They're just men's t-shirts. I prefer a men's shirt, personally, to a women's. I don't like the fit of women's t-shirts because I am taller. They never seem to fit me right. So, hey, Kathy, how are you? Hi, Stephanie. Welcome. So I always buy men's, and I bought these initially so that I could do that dad bod shirt for Chris, but I always like to buy a pack of shirts so that I'm not just buying one. So I'm sticking my ink mat on, okay, and as you can see, I'm just getting any bubbles out, but there's something hard under here, like something. Well, you'll have it here. With this transfer, whenever you comment link, you'll get the link to get all the stuff to make this project. Okay, so I made sure to not pull my shirt on this ink mat. Okay, you do not want to stretch it over the ink mat. You just want to stick it down to where it's secure, but not stretched. Okay, because if you stretch the fabric, then your design's going to be stretched. So I know it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can... I don't know if I can push my camera down at all. Let me maybe pull this closer to me. There. Now you can see the neckline at least. Okay. So I'm going to line this up to where it's in the center. And we're going to do maybe today, Satan, okay? Because I want this to be my snarky shirt. Now you could change it to not and just don't use the maybe and use the not instead. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? Hey, Barbara, how are you? Now, I'm not going to fuzz this or anything, okay? I'm just going to simply take it off the transfer backer sheet, and I'm going to put it right on my shirt, okay? Whenever you do an ink project on any kind of textile, you do not have to fuzz it, okay? So just stick it right on. I have my squeegee here. And make sure that it's stuck down really nicely. Yeah, when I saw this transfer, I knew I needed the shirts. So I'm glad I'm with my people here and that you all understand. This is just plain white ink, bright white. I'm going to get a little bit on my squeegee, okay? And I'm just going to go over this design. I'm going to go slowly, okay? So that I make sure that I get the whole design really well. And there's no need to rush with ink, okay? It doesn't dry very quickly, so you don't have to worry about it drying in the transfer. And you want to get a good coverage, so I'm actually going to probably go over this. So these are cotton shirts. They soak up the ink pretty well. And I found that on darker shirts, as you can see, I'm wearing one right now. This one actually came out okay, but on the dune down here, it's kind of not great coverage. So I probably should have done multiple layers or like gone in with a little bit of extra ink than I did. But I was trying to not let it bleed by using just a little bit of ink. So that happens sometimes on darker shirts. So you might have to go over it a little bit with a little bit more ink to make sure that you get really good solid coverage. Okay. I found that with these 100% cotton shirts that it just soaks up the ink so well whenever it's a darker color that sometimes you need to add a little bit more, but you do want to just be sparing whenever you're first putting your ink down. You don't want it to leak underneath that transfer, but you can always go back and add more. And as you pull it up, you can look and make sure that you have it really good coverage in all the places. And if you find that there's a spot that's missing some ink, then you can always just lay it back down and go over it again. Okay, so you could totally wash the transfer if you want to and set it right back down over your design, or as you're pulling it up, if you pay really good attention while it's still stuck down, you can actually lay it back down and redo the design over it wherever you missed any spots, okay? Which I do that sometimes. Hopefully we're not going to do it here. This is just Chalk Couture bright white ink, okay? You can get it in my shop. If you comment the word link, L-I-N-K, you will get the link to get all this stuff for yourself that I'm using. Plus, if you want to save 30% on your purchases, you can sign up as a Perks member with me and save on all of your purchases. Plus, you get a $20 credit every month to use on product on whatever you want. Okay, each month you get that. Or you can sign up as a designer and get 40% off. Okay, there's no requirement to sell or anything like that. If you decide that you want to sell, you're more than welcome to do that. As a designer, if you want to sell products, you can. But there's no pressure to do that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just go over this a little bit more. I just want to make sure that this is really good. And this shirt, I can see it just soaking it in. Okay. So I want it to be super bright. All right. So yeah, make sure that you comment link here. And I know that my notifications are screwed up right now. They're not working whenever I go live. Only some people are getting some. Other people are getting nothing. I'm working with Facebook right now with their support team to see what I can do to get that fixed. But their support is kind of slow. So I'm hoping that it will resolve itself. Hey, Marie, how are you? Hi, Margie. All right, so I'm going to just take the excess ink and I'm going to put it back in my jar because I'm not trying to waste anything around here, okay? Everything is reusable. We're hoarders. We save it all. I'm a crafter and I save everything, okay? All the little bits of junk that I find. And if I have a little bit of extra ink, I am going to put it back in my jar. Okay, so I wiped off my hands. I want to make sure that, yay! I'm glad to hear that. That you got your stuff. I'm going to make sure that I don't have any ink on my hands as I pull this up. Now I'm going to go slow, and I'm just going to look as I pull this up and make sure that I have really good coverage. And turns out I do have great coverage. As you can see, this looks really, really good. So now what I want to do is I still have my ink mat, okay, underneath here on the inside of my shirt. So I need to be gentle. I'm going to just dry this a little bit. This is not going to dry this ink, okay? So do not expect that the ink's going to be dry if you dry it with a dryer, okay? It does need to dry overnight, or it needs to be heat set before it's actually completed drying. So I just like to make myself feel better by running a dryer over it for a minute. Yay. I'm glad to hear that, Lynn. That's wonderful news. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I have my ink mat. As you can see, it's attached right here, okay? It's just stuck underneath. I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to use this other hand to hold the shirt, the tail of the shirt, and I'm just pushing down. As you can see, it's hard to see, I know. I'm just taking this and I'm pushing down on the ink mat as I'm pulling up the shirt, okay? Just like that. Can you see how I'm doing that? And I'm working my hand up the ink mat as I go. Now, I know this is awkward, okay? and you don't want the ink to get to touch the shirt. Okay, so you could totally let this sit for overnight before you do this, even if you're going to use a heat press. But I am very impatient, and I like immediate results. So now I'm just holding it up. As you can see, I'm holding it up with my hand. I've got my ink mat right here. I'm going to pull that ink mat out, okay? I'm going to set that down there for a second. And then I've got my shirt. So I'm just going to lay that right here. I have a piece of parchment. Let me see. I'm going to use this one on the inside. I think that'll be big enough. Okay. I'm going to just set that on the inside. I think I'm fine probably. But I don't want any ink whenever I'm heat setting this to bleed through to the back of my shirt. Okay. So I'm just setting that right in there. Let me see. So I love the ink mats because not only can you use them for ink projects, but you can also use them to stick cutouts to paint. And it's super handy, plus you can clean them, okay? What I like to do, and I learned this from a fellow designer, spray a little of that Totally Awesome cleaner, this stuff, to clean an ink mat. Y'all, this stuff cleans anything, okay? This is from Dollar Tree, $1.25 store, okay? Spray a little bit of that on your ink mat. Take a squeegee like this and just gently, with a little bit of water, and gently get that paint and ink off of that ink mat, okay? It'll get fuzz and all kinds of stuff off of it too. Now, I do have my little heat pad underneath this so that I protect my surface, okay? This is my Cricut heat press. It's set on 305 for 30 seconds. We're going to do that really quick. I think I'm covering my whole design. Pretty sure. Okay, so we'll heat set this, and this will be done. I don't have to do anything else to it. I could wear it today. Okay, so this is a great option for like last minute gifts, fun ideas for shirts, for parties. I have many times made something and worn it out of the house that day. Like a couple years ago, we were going to a 4th of July party. I made a shirt to wear to the party on one of my lives, and then I wore it to the party, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, I love that shirt. Oh, and Chris is telling everybody, yeah, she made it. She just made it a minute ago. And then they're all asking me, how'd you do that? All right, so now my shirt is heat set. That's stinking cute, okay? That is called Totally Awesome Cleaner. Okay, it comes in a bottle like this. It's hard to see the label, but that's what the label looks like. This stuff is amazing. I had a bunch of paint that was dried on my glass mat from last night whenever I painted that project. I sprayed a little bit on here, and I literally just wiped it off with a paper towel. Okay, I didn't have to scrub it or anything. It works amazing. Okay, this shirt is really cute. I think Chris might fight me for this one, but I really like it. And I hope that you love it too. You can also change out the maybe for the word not. But let me know what you think. Comment the word link right here in the comments to get the link to get all the stuff to make this project, okay? All right, y'all. I love you all so much. I hope you have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.